to in Arab countries.
Yeah.
Which means that you're only worth stepping on. You are lower than a bug. Oh, crap.
And
Are we live?
yes,
God
we're live.
damn
All right, to catch you up on the sidebar discussion, we were talking about the French president getting slapped in the face.
And Jim A. Pilot and I are of the opinion that more politicians need to get slapped more often. It's a sort of a grounding thing.
Yeah.
It brings it back down to earth. A
Yeah.
good crack across the chops.
The shoe tree of liberty.
And what JimJim did not know, which is surprising because he usually knows everything, is that the bottom of the shoe is an insult
In Arab
And-
countries.
many, many countries.
Why do that? In the back of my head somewhere. But
You're rattling around.
yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
there's a lot of useless information
Oh,
here
God.
that's
Yeah.
unfiled.
Yeah, tell me about it. That's like they couldn't understand why I punched an Arab off his stool or his chair at a desk one time. We were in there and he leaned back, put his feet up on the desk, pointed at us, and I backhanded him off his chair. And we,
Because he thought you didn't know what that meant.
yeah,
Yeah.
he thought stupid American military.
Well, he's probably been doing it to every other.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Well, it's good. It's good face points for his guys. Oh look, the stupid American military doesn't know.
Yeah, Sanford, that was what we were talking about, was the shoe being thrown at Bush. In other news,
do we have a list of stuff?
it's up here.
Uh-oh.
The stupidity in England.
One's Great Britain.
Yeah, Britain, formerly known as Great.
Yeah, where Zidane couldn't even say RAF correctly.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Now he said RFA
Rural Farmers of America.
and then tried to correct it and still couldn't correct it right.
What's he say?
ARF. ARF.
Yeah. And he got off script as usual, and it became ugly. But the more
and
interesting,
the Brits will tear him apart.
yeah,
I mean,
more
we-
interesting thing was Jill Biden's tweet about how she was studying for the G7. If you may remember, we talked last year about kind of jokingly about Edith Wilson 2.0,
Yeah.
and I think we're living it.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm assuming they're a loving couple, and I have a great deal of respect for wives that are our partners and for devoted couples. I write about them all the time, and I have great respect for them. That heifer needs to bugger off. She needs to take care of her senile husband
Yeah.
and not worry about anything else.
Well, apparently she is, because if he's going to the G7, somebody's got to be there to feed him the lines.
Yeah.
Remember when we used to laugh about Obama being the teleprompter in chief
Yeah.
because he
Boy,
couldn't
no.
get off script? Boy,
No kidding.
Yeah.
yeah, this guy can't even stay on script.
Well, now that I think about it, I guess Joe Biden's better than Kamala Giggly Harris.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's make a joke out of everything and dismiss everything as a joke. Oh,
Yeah,
you know, you can't do that, you stupid cunt.
Let's
There
3 minutes, 50 seconds. Sorry.
you go, Jim.
Sorry.
I'm waiting for her to giggle at Putin.
Yeah.
Oh, I dread the meeting between Putin and anybody in our administration.
Oh, you're not.
Well, that's coming down in the next couple of days.
I know.
Steph says, and it's a good point, we didn't elect Jill Biden. And RK said, at least Edith was semi-competent.
Yeah.
Point.
No, the thing is, I'm sure there's a significant percentage of the people that really voted for Jill Biden, and the same reason that a lot of Republicans voted for what's her name from Alaska instead of
Palin?
Palin instead of
Yeah.
Kane.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if and Steph came back with it.
I've read Jill Biden's thesis or dissertation.
All 7 pages of it.
Rap.
Oh, that was a piece of shit. No
All
question.
7 pages.
Yeah.
Double spaced.
Double spaced with typos.
If Steph says, I thought if Jill truly loved and cared for him, but I don't. She's doing elder
No.
abuse.
Yeah, she is.
The thing is, my default on any Democrat couple is if they made a power alliance. It's not a marriage.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason that they're.
These days, honest to God, these days, if I see a Democrat power couple, I'm wondering which one's the beard.
Yeah.
Oh well, you look at Bill and Hillary.
And Barack and Michelle.
Yeah. Evening, Sarah.
Those are both swinging dicks. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm still not convinced.
I rest my case.
Yeah.
Because there's absolutely no proof that she gave birth to any of her kids.
We're not going down that rabbit hole again.
I understand. I understand. Some women just do not want pictures taken while they're pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah, she might be that way.
Yeah, Steph, in academic doctor of education is a joke.
Well,
and her thesis was definitely a joke.
It was, for God's sake, she's an education major, and the
misspellings, bad punctuation.
And
I can't spell or do English, and I'm better than that.
Oh,
it
made my eye twitch.
Because if it's been within the last 30 years, there was a spell check out there.
It didn't get used.
And she didn't use it.
Yeah, I know, but
you think it's homophone homonym errors? That's what spell check will give you, is homophone homonym errors. No, she flat out just ignored the little red squiggly lines.
Yeah.
And apparently her proctors, or whatever the hell it is, that shepherd you through the whole process and were allegedly reading this steaming pile of crap.
The interesting thing is an education major.
Well, it was from the University of Delaware, so what do you expect? It was a payoff to Dear Joe.
Yeah.
And Sarah, I'm sure you did do better work on your master's thesis.
I just, every time I think about it, and this is just me, so don't send any hate mail to Jim, but I was looking at an education major. Somebody is just reviewing the last 12 years of what they've covered.
Probably not wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I might be missing something, but
I
did you have all this before? I'm sorry.
Well, I have read memos and reports from cowboys who have a high school education, and that was kind of iffy. They were written better than Dr. Biden's dissertation.
Not yet. Well, I got a suspicion that those cowboys were told, "Hey, listen, don't have any errors on your resume if you want to get the job."
Yeah, these are law enforcement reports that crossed my desk.
And they went through it with a fine-tooth comb 8-9 times.
Yeah, they ran it through spell check multiple times because I'm vicious on this is about to be a permanent record. It may be read in court. Don't embarrass me.
Yeah.
And those deputies and jailers, the first time they got one of my arterial bleed edits back, they learned.
Yeah. RK says her strings instructor at West Texas A&M got his PhD based on the study of a violin bowing technique in one phase of one song.
Now, I can believe it. The acoustics
that was a hell of a lot of work.
There are some sciences out there that are really sciences, but there's still some kind of black magic going on because we don't quite understand what it is.
Oh yeah.
I think acoustics falls into there.
Why does Stradivarius sound better than any other violin?
Yeah.
I
mean, they've taken them apart and stuff and figured out. Or the other one was non-destructive testing of solids.
Yeah.
Because metallurgy's really only 150 years old as a science, but they still don't know why this crystallized, why that transported the way it did. And NDS is like, we're going to take a sound wave and pass it through this steel and tell you that exactly this layer is a micron thick.
We're going to take a sound wave that we don't actually quite understand and use that to get quantifiable data.
Yeah, I've dealt with that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sarah Singleton says, don't put 1313 Mockingbird Lane as previous address. Her hubby actually saw that on SF-86. Oh, God.
Also,
really?
One of our friends likes to put Person of the Year 2006 or 2007 on his resume.
Really?
as accomplishments because
Oh, Time Magazine, yes.
Everybody was Person of the Year that year.
Yes. Yeah, I remember.
So
Yeah.
technically correct.
Time Magazine's Person of the Year.
Was
Not
everybody.
wrong.
Yeah.
Nope, not wrong.
In our case, there's lots of PhDs awarded for Stradivarius wood studies,
Oh, yeah.
and nobody still has an answer as to why it sounds better. As far as degrees, I will admit I have a degree in Bachelor of Science in Education, in adult education.
That explains a lot.
So that's only the last 4 years of your school.
But-
the thing is, my mom bought a $25 Yamaha classical guitar when she was pregnant with my older sister, and it sat in the back of. She bought it for my aunt, who didn't want it. It turned out, and then it proceeded to sit in the back of her closet for 18 years, 17 years until I found it.
Okay.
And it was the best sounding classical guitar I've ever played.
Yeah.
Hands down, best sound ever. And it's a $25 Yamaha.
Yeah.
I mean,
That happens.
so, 18 years of aging
Yeah.
in some kind of climate.
Well, that's really what they think happened with the Stradivarius.
It's
Is
just
the
the
climate.
age
Yeah.
correctly. Yeah, but he did something different with his glues or
Yeah.
something because otherwise
His varnish wasn't he had a unique varnish that was, I think,
it's better than glues because you can't. I mean, some things will age to destruction.
Yeah.
So,
RK goes, I have a Bachelor of Music Education. Minor was military science, post-grad in strategic intelligence. Yeah, it's a wide range.
wow.
Yeah.
does give you perspective on stuff. Though.
Gives you a hell of perspective.
Yes, I mean,
Yeah. And John chimes in, says, well, there's nothing that says it's, but they're saying nothing else sounds as good. Not really as far as the Stradivarius. Yeah, there's always going to be people.
Well, and that's
Since I can't hear, I don't
Yeah,
care.
That's the thing of it. Stradivarius, Rita goes into rhapsodies over the sound of a Stradivarius.
yeah, she's a music major.
I don't have enough discernment
Yeah.
to actually be able to tell a difference.
Well, when you consider the hearing loss from,
Well, but it's
Yeah.
Music is at most. I like Ronnie James Dio.
Yeah.
She if somebody's half a tone off,
But she's got it, yeah.
if 2 auditoriums over, she's now. I guess we're all like that because,
huh?
well, no, I have gone. She's patted me on the hand and gone, yes, dear, because I've gone into a 30-minute rant about a judo throw on TV.
Yeah. Well, we all have areas that we know.
Yeah. And she's going, he hit floor.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
tell her, that's the same way I am with music.
Yeah.
Sounds-
Yeah, Sanford,
sounds
none
good.
of us old farts can tell because too many years of guns and other things.
Gunfire.
The other thing that was kind of
The
interesting
thing is,
is,
though, we can tell what it is by the sound of the report.
Yes. That drives me nuts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We
Yeah.
we claim we don't know music, but we're like, there's something wrong with the. I think there's a crack in the in the charging handle on that grand right there.
Well,
The ping was off.
Yeah.
Bloggerado, on the long range table, Reed and I were eating sandwiches, and Jim cracked off one, I think at 22,250.
Yeah.
I went, ooh, 22,250. And Rita looked at me and said, how the hell can you not tell I'm half a note off, but you can tell what rifle that was at 100 yards?
Okay. Look at this is there's a primary difference between men and women here because you look at you go into a house and you look at the color on the walls and a woman will go, oh, that's a pretty little off acre, and the guy was like, it's white.
Yes. Kind of a mucky white.
When you walk out to a classic car, they'll go, oh my God, that's a beautiful blood red leather.
yeah,
She's like, that's bright red.
yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a good point.
Yes. Yeah, RK, it also scales up. She says, used to be able to tell the difference between thunder tanks and artillery from our house
Oh, yeah.
west of Fort Hood. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Well,
you can definitely tell.
Hey,
it's
Andy.
outgoing.
At my best, I could tell you the difference between a AR-10 and an FAL.
Yeah.
There's a big difference.
Yeah.
It's all 308. Well, I know, but still.
It's not.
Well, the funny part is I did a lot of acoustics before I became an officer. And when we got our hearing tested, the acoustics experts that we were classed as, or subject matter experts, we had worse hearing than the average sailors did. And they were confused as to how the hell we could pick out what we were picking out in the ocean noise.
Because your software worked better.
Yeah, but it was,
Yeah.
we had an average of about 9 years experience.
Hmm.
That was the average.
Well, it's just like a radio ear.
Yeah.
When you first get students up and you haven't listened to the radio,
Yeah.
listen to air-to-ground communication.
Yeah.
They can't pick out
Can't
a
figure out
word,
what. Yeah.
but you know exactly what they're saying.
Yeah.
Part of that is you know what to expect. To hear.
Yeah.
Well, it's,
Oh, we had a radio on the P3 that would be sound asleep
oh yeah.
until he heard our call sign, and he would wake up, write out whatever it was, and hold his hand out, and somebody would come by, grab it, and take it to the pilot or the taco,
At which point you probably fall asleep.
and he'd go back to sleep. We used to call him wheels up, heels up.
Well, it's same thing with training a rookie in squad car.
Yeah.
I mean, when you've got PD and SO and FD all in 3 different command centers, all just, and I'd hear my call sign pick up. Go ahead. How'd you know that was us? You can't hear the 401 on there?
Yeah.
Was that us? Yes, I'm 401.
Yeah. Yeah, knowing exactly which plane goes over. Yeah, I still do that. Deaf as a post, but I can.
Does anybody notice a whiz in 22 long rifle?
Yeah.
The report has a whiz in it.
Yeah, it's because you're spinning the hell out of the bullet.
Oh yes, but there's
What's the twister in your 22-250?
no on 22 long rifle.
Oh,
rimfire.
22 long.
Yeah.
On a rimfire,
Yeah.
for some rimfire rifles have this really odd, to me, a really odd whiz to the report.
Yeah.
Not the flying overhead, but the bang has a whiz to it.
It's a tail. Yeah.
Oh yes.
That could very well be the aerodynamics.
Well, that and the fact that it's a subsonic. And it's right at the borderline of being supersonic.
But it's
Right.
I can always pick out a 22 rifle on the range because it's got that whiz.
Well, I bet
To
you-
me, there's a whiz sound.
I bet you if you took a throwaway rifle and loaded some boat tail and some non-boat tail, you'd be able to hear that. You'd be able to tell that whiz to it.
Yeah.
Oh, you might be right.
Sanford says, I know men who can sleep through the sound of next M16, but wake up immediately at an AK. Yeah.
Do you know what we're hardwired to respond to?
Boots.
No, a cat getting ready to hold.
Oh,
Or
God.
a dog.
Or a dog.
Or a dog. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you grew up on Mars and never heard a dog before. If you hear that dog going to hork, you're up and you're moving that dog outside.
Before you're even awake.
Yeah. Standing outside butt naked going, what the hell am I doing?
Well, I've actually done that. Chewy has a sensitive stomach, and he a couple weeks ago, as a matter of fact, I thought myself because I'll snatch him up, put him in the tub because his 0 to hork time is like that.
Oh,
And I'm standing in the bathroom, and he's in the tub and looking at me like, how did I get here?
Yeah.
And he's going, he was trying to hork. Oh,
And John goes, especially if you have new carpet. Yes.
no, the first time you step in it.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish you could see JimJim's face right now.
because there's 2 options when you step in it. It's either warm
which is,
or it's cold.
I'm
And I
not sure
can't tell
worse.
which is worse.
I'm not sure which is worse.
Yeah. Steph says, harking actually trumps a baby's cry. Yeah.
Wouldn't know.
Well, now if a kid starts to hark, you'll do the same thing. Y'all have never had kids.
Do kids do the whole?
Oh, God, yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, poor Rita. When my tummy gets upset, that's only very occasion. But when it's better out than in, as they say, she says that I make the worst noises.
Yeah.
And I have a lead up, and I can't help it, and because it really squicks her out.
Yeah.
And I can't help it.
I can,
Yeah, Cedar goes hardwood floors. Yeah, that's nice if you can afford hardwood
Squeegee.
floors.
except for the fact that stomach acids will leak through a hardwood floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. Squidge.
Oh, 120-pound German Shepherd, explosive diarrhea at 3 a.m. No, thank you, John. I've been there with a 120-pound German Shepherd with diarrhea, and it was bad enough.
I like my 15-pound dogs. Their messes are easy to handle.
Yeah.
The thing about cats, though, is it doesn't matter how small or big the cat is.
That
That hairball is going to be 15 feet long.
Yeah.
You're not kidding.
I mean, you have a 6-week-old kitten. It just came up with 15 feet of hairball from somewhere.
Yeah. I think it's born with a damn hairball.
Extra dimensional space.
I don't know if it's bigger on the inside. I don't know. It's
Yeah, Wayne says projectile fruit punch into the carpet makes hardwood a lot more affordable. Yeah, because you're going to take the carpet out anyway. That's the point.
And then he's going to say, I've got beer, and he has a friend come over and help him lay laminate.
mm-hmm.
No.
No, this was before.
Oh, yeah.
Have you been in his house?
Yeah.
Oh, that lovely laminate?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
This is why I have a strict bodies only with friends.
Well, that was a long time ago, too. That was a lot more limber.
Bridget describes hairballs as larger than William Shatner's toupee.
About as hairy.
Yeah. Speaking of hairballs,
This has gone really left.
and this
He's
is,
got the list.
it's up here, and I never get a chance to get to it because y'all run off into,
Hairballs.
Yeah.
Dogs, the sound of the dog honking.
yeah, the Shatner 2000. Yeah, John, Rancho had some nice houses with hardwood floors, but they were built in the 50s when hardwoods were still cheap.
Yeah, can you imagine what a hardwood floor would cost right now?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Jesus.
A friend of mine over in Texarkana, they have two of the old houses that were built and transported in on railroad cars for the pumping station, oil pumping station. These things are, I mean, they're literally as long as a flat car and about 10 feet wide. So they'd put two of them together and make a house. But they were strong enough to be transported by train.
Good solid wood.
They're all wood. They're 12 by 12 joists underneath it.
Jesus.
Whoa.
And he took two of them
That's a gold mine right
That's
there.
just one
and
tree.
put them together.
That's a gold mine.
Yeah.
12
And
by 12 is one tree.
yeah, yeah, they were literally one tree. But a lot of them, you know, and he did, when he did his, he left one of the houses original with the paneling in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not veneer.
No.
It's shaved hardwood paneling.
Well, there's
absolutely beautiful.
We have a hunting lease down in Central Texas. And it's in an area that's one of the older Anglo settlements in the United States or in Texas.
Yeah.
There's houses that still have arrowheads stuck in the wood.
Yeah.
And he's got a couple of barns on his land that have fallen down. And I'm looking at those right now and thinking, you know, if I sneak some boards, I got my, you know, one pickup load of boards from one of those barns that's 120 years old.
Yeah.
And I've got my retirement.
Well, I had friends in South Carolina sold a 100-year-old barn for $200,000.
I don't have it in place.
And the entire barn was built around the turn of the 19th century, and it was hard pine.
Have you looked at the wood in those barns?
Yeah.
It's 1x8s.
I know.
And they're still solid.
Oh, I know.
They were linseeded to a fairly well.
Well, it's like our old house down in Louisiana.
Cypress?
It's cypress.
Oh, that'll be there till.
And it's shiplap cypress inside.
That'll be there till the universe sings itself to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also where you get people who spend $1 million on the cabinetry in their kitchen.
Yeah.
Because they used an extinct redwood.
Yeah.
They found.
Oh, yeah.
And bragged about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, okay. You're all green and everything and renewable, but you literally went out of your way and spent a third of the price of the house on stuff that just does not exist anymore.
Yeah.
There's a house in Galveston that the family, I don't know if it's still standing, the family paneled it in wood from sunken ships.
Oh, wow.
They
Yeah.
would buy the wood from ships and, you know, shave veneer. And it's like, are you stupid?
No, that's absolutely the wrong wood you want to use.
It's, are you
Period.
stupid?
But no, they get to brag about it.
Oh, they bragged the hell up. And it's something, you know how much this cost us? You know what you could have spent the money on?
Yeah.
Mhm. For something that now that it's out of the water,
Is going to hell
Yeah.
in a handbasket.
RK says lots of the old abandoned buildings are getting salvaged
Mhm.
because it's cheaper than buying and waiting on new wood. Yeah, that's true too.
Well, it's not only cheaper; it's better wood. A lot of the up in the Panhandle are abandoned farmhouses they call cow houses.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they're settler houses and old abandoned houses. They knock the doors out, so during a blue northerly, the cows have some shelter. And these houses are made of wood that were brought. A house that was. Some of these houses were built when Charlie Goodnight was,
Yeah.
first got into the Panhandle. So these things are well over 100 years old.
Yeah.
And they're built out of wood that had to come from the east back when, it was decent wood. And there were people, they'd go to ranchers and say, I'll take that house off your hands. All right. And they'd sell it for 6 figures.
Yeah.
And that came to screaming called after somebody figured it out.
Yeah. Cedar says the renovation show she was watching, and the shows like that sparked a brisk trade in pirated barnwood.
Yeah.
Until people started getting shot for stealing it,
Mhm.
I approve this message.
which happened in South Carolina. RK wants to know how the chicken incursions are going.
Not well.
Did they get another one?
Whew. Karen, Olga Chickanova and Karen were in our front yard. And apparently an uninvolved third party showed up in the form of a pibble. And Karen is no longer with us. She is a K-kill. Whew, it was, and I went next door and said, wasn't our, I took a feather, I said, wasn't our dogs.
Yeah.
What happened?
I have seen a lot more prey birds orbiting the town.
Yeah, no kidding.
Somebody around here has got a falcon. I swear they've got
think more
one.
than one. Because I could have sworn I saw a raptor with something around an ankle.
Yep.
The other day.
Well,
He's perfect.
Now this was hanging.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was intestines but there was like
Yeah.
that much hanging off of one leg.
the tags. They're that the people that are tracking them can spot them with them.
Really?
Yeah.
I would thought that was endangered.
No, okay.
Now they also use them to grab and hold
Yeah.
birds.
I had to fly a guy around the DFW Class Bravo one day because they lost a falcon.
Yeah.
So this falcon had an ankle thing, right? So it had the streamer and everything, but the
So
ankle thing also
It was a falcon
transmitter
on
on it.
probation.
So GPS.
Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't GPS.
Oh God.
So we flew
So
around.
you had triangulate, and
Right.
the thing was
We
moving.
removed the window on a 172. No big deal. You can remove the camera on a 172.
Yeah.
It's no big deal. It'll still fly. And he had that, the
Uh-huh.
and he would stick his head out in the slipstream and try to pick up a signal from it. And I was running a search pattern, right? So over a mile, back down, over a mile. And the controllers at DFW hated me. Just hated because I'm literally running back and forth across their cross traffic.
Yeah.
Granted, I was below 500 feet the entire time, but they're like,
I'm just trying. I'm trying to figure out how the hell you triangulate. You get two.
well, when they pick up a signal, the antenna is directional,
Okay.
right? And as he rotates it, it gets stronger or weaker,
So it gives you a direction to point in.
right? So now you start flying in that direction. and the signals start getting stronger, and as soon as you pass over, the signals start getting weaker again.
But
Yeah.
he's flying too. And for your 172, did he have a faster air speed than you did?
Could have. It's a 172. I'm not saying I was, but the assumption was that the bird was not flying.
No.
It was stationary because apparently they're very lazy.
Yeah.
Unless they're hungry.
Yeah. And John says, a guy went to college with, his parents had a 1,700 Irish pub in the cellar. They shipped over brick by brick.
Oh,
The old apocryphal story of the guy who bought the London Bridge and
Yeah.
shipped it to Arizona brick by brick
Yeah.
and misnumbered the bricks.
John says, it wasn't ballast. It was brought over and shipped because the grandparents liked it. Mind you, his uncle owned things like the Empire State Building and other WTC buildings. Yeah. Jesse's, that's what they are, Cedar. Thank you. The strings are Jesse, called Jesse's. Couldn't remember that for anything.
there's been a falcon running around here that's got something hanging off the ankle.
Yeah, I've seen him perched in the tree over here.
I still think that's just an identification tag. So
Could be.
the falcon, not the falconers, the bird scientists.
Have you seen those great horned owls that allegedly don't live here?
Yeah.
That are living here?
Yeah.
No, don't say that.
There are a couple of great horned owls on that church over by our street, and they perch on the cross.
Yep.
On the crossbar, one on the left, one on the right. The damn things have to be 3 foot tall.
That's why they're called great.
Yeah. No good.
Aren't they endangered?
I don't know.
Who knows?
Isn't that going to mean that we're going to get designated a bird sanctuary?
We already are.
We already are.
For what?
Birds.
Birds, period.
If you destroy a nest without permission in Bug Scuffle, you get fined because we're a bird sanctuary.
Oops.
Yeah, no shit.
Who declared us as a bird sanctuary?
The city fathers went to the state. State said, "Thou art a bird sanctuary."
Hey,
No
Jonna,
welcome, no
welcome.
These are probably the same guys that thought
The Prairie Dog Town in Itchy Paw was a good idea. That's exactly the same guys.
Yeah.
That's still just.
I'm telling you, a nice suppressed 22.
Yeah.
Although some of those prairie dogs are bigger than
I should just say, a 22 is
They might
like.
shrug it off.
Yeah.
If you shoot one of them with a 22 and he finds out about it, he might be irritated.
He might be irritated.
Yeah, Cedar, falcon can pretty much hunt whatever it wants, wherever it wants, bird sanctuary or no.
Yeah,
I mean, how do the birds know it's a sanctuary?
yeah, the bird sanctuary only applies to us bipeds.
Yeah.
It's like when Chewy was slaughtering blue jays left, right, and center. I wanted to send a thank you note to Texas Parks and Wildlife, signed with a paw print.
Yeah.
By God, if we shoot or thump a blue jay,
Yeah. And Jonna says, 21 days to freedom. Yes.
21. Sweet.
Yes.
So, do we need to rent a U-Haul and head that way?
No, she's got other plans.
Okay.
Sarah Singleton said, Falcons got to eat. Yep, that they do.
So does my Tweety.
Yeah. RK answered the question. The great horned owl is common all over the U.S., not threatened, but protected as a raptor. That I did not know.
Well, I'm here to tell you, the first time one of those little bastards, not little, one of those dwarf-sized bastards takes a thunder run at one of my pups.
Yeah, they're big enough to take Chewies
Oh,
and
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
dogs that size and make a nice little snack.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I still remember this happened in Louisiana a few years ago. Guy caught a bald eagle
That was dumb.
that with a fish, caught it on video, with a fish that was so big that the bald eagle could not get out of ground effect. It's basically its wings are slapping the water, and it finally gets over to a sandbar and drags the fish out. And it's like, okay, break time.
Giving up on that.
No.
Would you?
Yeah, because when he got back to the bar, he would go, it was this big.
As far as I witness, I'll never go hungry again.
It was damn near as long as the bald eagle's wingspan. It was a big fish.
I lost a few friends up in Alaska that way. They would throw fish from the fishing ships. They would throw fish into the airplane until they were way overloaded.
Oh, yeah.
That was dumb.
And they would fly in ground effects.
Yeah.
All the way down to the cannery.
I don't like that idea.
No, I didn't either. Well, they didn't survive very long. So
Um,
Yeah, you talk about flying a ground effect. How would you like 750 miles of ground effect?
well, the Granoplan,
the Chronoplan, yeah, I was just thinking that.
No, I'm talking about with a B-29.
That's how they took off out of Tinian.
Yes, they were so overweight, they
There was-
could not climb until they got to Iwo Jima, which was 750 miles.
They
they
would.
probably wouldn't be so overweight and find pilots and co-pilots with smaller balls.
Well, they had to even loaded down the way they were. They could barely make the round trip,
Yeah.
which is why we needed
Iwo Jima.
Iwo Jima so bad, because it was literally halfway between.
Yeah.
And in fact, the first B-29 that limped into Iwo Jima was limped in there 12 days after landing, which means the island was still being contested.
Yeah.
And that was the first one. And within the first 30 days, they had 2 per day, minimum 2 per day. These guys they get shot up over Japan and they'd limp back to Iwo Jima.
And either land or crash.
And but yeah, that was a big reason for Iwo Jima. But they take off out of Tinian. And Tinian, the way the runway was set, it was
on a cliff.
Yeah, there was not a big cliff either.
No, I've been to Tinian.
It's a kind of cliff that you could fall off of and go, Mom warned me about that. So they take off over the end of it and they literally sink down
Into ground effect.
over the water, which is not the best place to try to reduce ground effect. And they'd sit there and they would just
Until until they ran it down.
They burned off enough fuel that they could actually start climbing.
Jesus.
But they were 105, 110% on the engines, kind of redlined, just trying to stay. And there were instances of the wingtips skipping on the water.
Yeah.
But when they would take off, there was what they called air sea rescue squadrons.
Yeah.
And there were 3 or 4 based on Tinian, and they would have one launch. And so it was several boats and a couple of PBYs, and they would orbit while the B-29 was taking off, because the guys that didn't stay and hit the water, they would go out and rescue them.
Yeah.
And it was often enough that they would just pre-position the guys out there waiting. You're going to lose 1 or 2.
Yeah, Jesse, they did it day after day.
Yep.
I got a chance to talk with some of the guys from 505th at one of their reunions. They were based out of Saipan and Tinian. And he said out of 32 flights he made to Japan, 3 times he made it back to Iwo Jima. Once he crashed, and 4 times he made it home with enough fuel that he had 1 engine running when he got back to Tinian. And he said,
power applied.
Yeah.
Power descent.
He said,
Wow.
that was basically what it was.
Wow.
But he said they took all the weapons off the airplane. They had no weapons.
Well, they found out that they could fly higher than a Zero could climb, and then the Japanese figured out they do these zoom climbs.
Yeah.
Right. They get to an altitude, and they dive, get some airspeed, and just do this big zoom up. And they could get a few shots at the B-29. But for the most part, they're flying higher than they're relatively safe.
Well, the MiGs are doing that with a SR-71. RK says all non-game birds protected. Section 64.002, protection of non-game birds. Depends on what you define as a game bird. If you're hungry enough, anything is a friggin' game bird.
Well, if you talk to Chewy, game birds are chickens, blue jays, robins, cardinals, sparrows, house sparrows,
Squirrels.
They all taste like chicken.
Now, according to Chewy, they all taste like chicken. I've got video of Mochi dragging that chicken backwards. She got a death grip on the chicken's butt, and the chicken is squawking, and she's dragging it backwards towards the Morgan building. She's a dachshund, so she's got this network of tunnels under our Morgan building. And there's actually
Of
one
course she does.
I don't have video of. Her body is in the tunnel, and the chicken has its arms or its wings out. It's like, nope, nope, nope. And you just see that body going in and popping out.
Yeah.
You're gonna kill the bird first because it's fighting.
Oh, Biden says U.S. is to donate 500 million Pfizer vaccine doses.
To who?
I don't know.
Apparently to impoverished third world countries.
Okay. Except, never mind.
Don't go there. Speaking of impoverished, hopefully Fauci is going to be soon impoverished.
Apparently his book deal got canceled.
Good.
You gotta write
Because,
those quick.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
before
got,
the scandal breaks.
yes. Most liberals have a shelf life of
yeah,
Not like an asthmatic fruit fly.
yeah. But the more that comes out, the more,
He is not getting covered in glory.
no. But his latest attempt at defending himself is that if you attack Fauci, you're now attacking science.
Well, I like the mainstream, well, like as in very sarcastically.
Yeah.
The legacy media, which I remind everybody is nothing more than several tabloids stacked up in a trench coat, is now, well, they're noble lies
Yeah, because he wanted to
to save us from ourselves.
he lied about the masks because he wanted to make sure there were masks for the first responders.
Right.
He lied about Jesus Christ. The list is endless.
Yeah.
Remember,
Well,
he
the
lied
list-
more often than he told.
yeah, the list of lies is 4 or 5 times as long as when he told the truth.
Growing, apparently.
And he did it for good reasons.
Yeah.
Oh,
Noble lies. It's a lie.
As Stephanie says, deity complex.
Well, most surgeons have that.
Well, the noble lies gets off into the burning martyr thing.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, he screwed up
AIDS
AIDS.
back what in the 80s?
Yeah.
Whoo, there for a
That was
while.
his first screw up.
Yeah, there for a while. Up
Back when he was the one that labeled it, what was it, GRIDS? Gay-related immune deficiency syndrome.
he did that, and
that was
and
his
it
first
was
name.
it only affects them, so we're not going to worry about it. Type of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And up until he got beatified by the media here recently, his name was mud in the gay community.
Yes.
They're like, oh, it's just killing gays.
Yeah. Jesse
They
says,
don't mention that anymore.
Fauci, people died, story of his career. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Josh says, I'm sure given the opportunity, Foxy would lie about Jesus too. Probably.
Well, the truth, that's my old sheriff. You say the truth is just not in the man.
No.
And I don't care about the noble lie. That makes him out to be this noble martyr, which
There's no such okay. The noble lie that he's claiming, it's just him either covering his butt,
Yep,
or trying to make some kind of.
Well, he's
Point.
covering his butt because he funded.
Well, yeah, well, it's just
It's documented
he's,
that he funded all the shit
the
that started.
the gain of function research at Wuhan Lab.
Yeah.
But he,
COVID.
this noble lie bullshit is just, well, I know better than you, so
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you this, and because I have some cloak of authority,
I'm going to lie to you because it's good for everybody.
right?
It didn't work.
No, it's not because it's good for it. It's because he thought it would be good for some people.
Yeah. John
Yeah,
makes,
That
and he
didn't
knew
work.
that.
That
Yeah.
didn't work with my parents. It's not working with him.
John made a good point. Says only the U.S. government would continue to employ and protect a man with that high a body count.
Well, it might be the Chinese government too. I mean, he's pretty clear.
Yeah.
The whole China, Biden, Fauci.
Is speaking of hairballs,
Yeah.
and about as greasy.
Okay, folks. I went 43 minutes without going with super conspiracy theories.
Are we timing all this?
Yes.
Time to cussing,
Oh,
time to conspiracy theory, time to food.
Well, I'm.
This
good
is
for
what
that.
happens when you get an anal retentive asshole at the table with you.
I love conspiracy theories because they are just
Well, we're running out.
so. Well, they keep coming true.
Yeah, there's no longer conspiracy theories. We're running out of them.
Jesse says, can't let Paul Pot hold the record.
Phew.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about the truth.
Oh, I'm already starting to see from the media the why do you care? Let's move on. This is as
Yeah.
far as the
What does it matter? The Hillary excuse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Yes,
dead. What does it matter anymore?
Well, what does it matter that it might have been done in a lab? We need to move on and recover.
Yeah.
No, No,
You need to
douchebag.
understand where it came from, so that the next time it happens.
We need
Yeah.
to understand how it happened. So A, we can tar and feather those
Yeah.
responsible.
Speaking of tar and feathers, Zuckerberg would be a nice start. Apparently, he and Fauci were in cahoots back
Oh yeah.
last year.
First name basis on emails, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing I saw the other day, which I thought was kind of funny, was Twitter got banned in a couple of African
Yeah,
countries.
Nigeria.
Yeah.
Woo!
I'm just
And-
surprised that. Sorry, go ahead.
Dorsey's going, but it's people's right to be able to.
There's only
How does it feel, asshole, when it comes back and bites you in the ass?
Yeah, Nigeria banned Twitter using the language Dorsey used to ban Trump.
Yeah.
They just cut and pasted.
Yeah.
He's going, you can't do that.
somebody took a pen, crossed out Trump, scrolled in Twitter.
Yeah.
Took a
Pretty
picture
much.
of it, yeah. And then
Well,
posted.
Yeah, they banned Twitter for advocating and
I just
promulgating violence.
Yeah.
I'm just amazed that people are surprised that Zuckerberg is not is a piece of shit. This guy created Facebook to do what?
Make money.
No, to rape the girls on his campus.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
I know.
that's where Facebook comes from,
Wow.
and they're amazed that Zuckerberg is a shit.
And the twin brothers that he stole it from.
Yeah.
I'm just amazed that Zuckerberg would have an interest in human females.
He's a geek. He was
Yeah.
not going to touch him anyway. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's just
One of these days he'll throw off his person's skin and
Yeah.
send to his
Jesse says, but my Twitter is a human right. Yeah, not so much.
how many countries have freedom of speech enshrined in their constitution?
One. Us.
Yeah, there was
There are a couple with some lip service towards it.
Yeah.
What I love was the Soviet Constitution had lip service to speaking of the truth is how they put
Well,
Yeah.
they
So,
also had that penultimate. Their Article 1
Yeah.
said that no enjoyment of any right should be to the detriment of the state.
it. Right,
Yeah.
right. But they had it in there that you're allowed to speak the truth.
What
What's
they
the
say
truth?
is the truth.
What is the truth? Yeah.
That's why their paper was Pravda, which
Yeah.
is Russian for truth.
Yes.
But it's quite clearly no enjoyment of a right, either in this constitution or otherwise, shall be to the detriment of the state.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, listen, and if something trumps a right, it's not a right.
Yeah, exactly.
And pretty much everything trumps
Yeah.
the Soviet version of rights.
Yeah, it just amazes me. But when you look at it, we've got the longest running government currently. Yeah,
Well, depends.
you look at how
No, I think he's.
British monarchy is a little older than we are.
yeah,
no,
but
they had a civil war after we did.
they had a civil war after we did, and their current government is not the monarchy that we split away from.
Yeah, they had a civil war and went Republican after
Yeah,
we did. I think.
but their House of Lords, House of Commons, that
It's not-
stuff that wasn't around until after we.
No, they had House Lord, House
Yeah.
Commons. It's just the House of Lords is no longer everybody. It's been severely restricted.
Yeah,
And
and their
it's-
powers, the monarchy's powers have been
Oh,
restricted
God,
too.
yes. And the House of Lords is pretty much more ceremonial. It's all in the House of Commons, which
So,
was not the case back in the.
and the thing is, wasn't it, what's his name, de Tocqueville, who said a republic or a democracy usually has about a 200-year lifespan.
Not a-
230 years.
So this is where we're at right now.
Yeah.
And again, lots and lots of useless information up here.
English Civil War was 1642 to 1651, so before ours.
Oh, okay.
Right, but
So they have had basically the same government longer than we have.
their constitutional monarchy, I guess, is what we're looking at, didn't come about till after us.
No,
It's the same basic government.
The Magna Carta gave them the
Yeah.
constitutional.
Yeah, that's the 11th century, but that's look at how look at some of the reigns of like the Henrys and
Mhm.
the Charleses. They were
Well, Charles is the one that got deposed and executed by the Civil War.
Oh yeah, War of the Roses. It's
No, not War.
Now they,
No,
okay,
that's-
they've got the Magna Carta. That was their version of a constitution.
Well, they also have an ancient constitution with the Bill of Rights.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, the right to keep our arms is in their Bill of Rights.
right. Yeah, there's also the Castle Doctrine. That's where we get that from.
Is the English Bill of Rights actually has, because it was either Catholics or Protestants, I forget which, weren't allowed. And so they put it in
Yeah.
the Bill of Rights and they friggin' ignored it.
Yeah. Speaking of ignoring
I
things,
mean, you could probably argue that the monarchy in Thailand is older.
Oh,
well, yeah, RK, you're right. The legislature can vote to change the rights at will without voter input. That's pretty much any government in the world except ours, although ours is trying to do the same thing.
ours does sneaks in there.
There you go.
Yeah.
What they've done is they've created bodies that are not elected and not reportable to the people.
What is it? Somebody referred to them as Brahmandarians?
Yeah.
And
Brahmandar?
what they'll do is they'll
Okay.
say, we need to make this law.
Yeah.
And they'll pass a law, and then the body that they sign it to will create all sorts of regulations to
Mhm.
enforce the law.
Yeah.
And we have no way of controlling what they write.
The Indian had a case to Brahmins, and the Chinese had the Mandarins,
Yeah.
who were the government functionaries, unelected
Bureaucrats.
unfunded bureaucrats. And we developed the same thing.
Yeah.
State Department is a classic example. It's run by a bunch of unelected, unappointed jackasses that think they know better than the National Command Authority, as we saw during the Trump presidency.
Yep.
Where they flat out lied about multiple things, which should have gotten the entire State Department executed.
Well, what I love was when Obama passed his Obamacare, 2,500 pages of it, and then the 78,000 pages of regulations that were created by
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
And nobody voted on those regs.
Nope.
Nope.
nobody's read those regs.
Yeah. It's
Well, somebody's read them because they keep pulling them out and stabbing us in the back with them.
right. Yeah, but they only pull them out when they need when it benefits them.
Oh, you got to be.
Occasional Cortex is off and running again.
Yep.
We need to elect your president.
We need to napalm the shit out of the district who keeps sitting her in office.
Well, her district may get gerrymandered out of existence.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Well, there's enough.
That
of
would be fun.
There's enough of a population shift from those states to these states
Yeah.
No kidding, right?
that Florida and Texas are picking up seats.
Florida 2, Texas 3, is that
I don't know.
correct?
I don't know.
I think it's 2 and 2.
2 and 2.
And
New York and California are losing. So
Yeah.
Yes.
And California is having just a hissing cat fit over it too.
Well, California thought that they could gerrymander the Republican seats out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
unfortunately, that didn't work the way they wanted it to.
Rapture just says, who the hell joked about electing AOC to POTUS?
That was me. We should be really, because if anything else, that would end this government on a dime.
Yeah.
No kidding, right?
Well, one other thing, speaking of dimes, nickels, dimes, quarters, and other things, it's rather interesting that the Park Service completed their report on Lafayette Square.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
the George Floyd protests in Washington, D.C., where the mainstream media absolutely dotted their cupcakes over Donald Trump forcibly clearing the peaceful protesters for a photo op.
Yeah.
And apparently, at the time, knew that was complete and total bullshit.
Along with Pelosi, Schumer,
AOC.
Oh, yeah.
AOC, and everybody else.
It became a race to see who was repeating who.
Yeah.
Was Pelosi repeating the news saying this, or was the news repeating Pelosi saying
It
this?
was one of those snakes
Yeah,
eating its tail.
And
This will be a great talking point.
the interesting part was in the report, the Park Service says no one ever asked them
Oh yeah.
who directed it. They did it internally to get the fencing up to protect the White House.
Because apparently, and something else that was known at the time but not reported, is there were people scaling the White House fence.
The
You bet that
Was
got
it-
it cleared.
was it Lafayette Park where the guy is standing in front of the burning dumpster going mostly peaceful?
I think so. That
That
sounds
was
right.
in New York.
I think that was Lafayette Park.
Yeah.
Peaceful protesters.
Yeah.
But at the time, they knew that A, Trump hadn't ordered it.
Right.
B, they weren't peaceful.
Yeah.
Because apparently 60 uniformed and plainclothes Secret Service agents wound up in the hospital before they finally cleared the
The
park.
correct number was 49.
Yeah, before they finally cleared the park.
Yeah.
But the media was all, Donald Trump wanted a photo op.
Yeah.
So he tear gassed peaceful protesters. And everybody ran with that story. Lying bastards.
Yeah.
Mostly peaceful.
I still think that a large part of the mainstream media, which I will remind people is a stack of tabloids in a trench coat,
Yeah.
should be guilty of treason.
Yeah.
They are, in point of fact, lying to give aid and comfort to America's enemies.
Yep. Raptor, the reason that they did not go hot on the one scaling the fence
Bad optics.
was two. One was optics, and the second was that they had enough TAC teams available to take them down before they got into the White House.
There is no way, no friggin' way that Donald Trump could order an American shot, no matter the provocation, without getting raked over the coals worse than he already was.
Yep.
Well, come on, Obama. There's drone strikes on American
Yeah.
citizens without due process.
Yeah, but if some crazed jackass scales the White House fence and gets blown off of it by a Secret Service agent, it'll be Donald Trump orders execution
Yeah.
of innocent Americans.
Yes.
And everybody in the mainstream media, i.e., 3 tabloids in a trench coat,
Yeah.
would have followed along.
Jesse, they don't need better optics. They got pretty good ones. Trust me. Yeah. Raptor says Trump got raked over the coals for eating 2 scoops of ice cream.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
That was for 2 news cycles.
Yeah.
Were on the fact that the president of the United States gets 2 scoops of ice cream and everybody else gets 1.
Yeah.
And I at the time I blogged said, who gives it? Who cares? He's the president. If he wants 3 and a cherry, he's the president.
Yeah.
Who cares?
And this is you compare that to when Obama was in the what was it? Some creamery ice cream shop, reached over the
The
steam
sea
jar
shield. Yeah.
and pointed and stuck his finger in something that he wanted, and it's
Yeah.
just like,
Well, okay, one of the things during the whole Clinton thing that really just infuriated me was this Hispanic comedian. I forget what his name was. It infuriated me because he was talking about, so the president got a blowjob. Who cares? If it had been my sister, I'd go, how I'd get it,
George Lopez.
I guess.
Yeah.
And, he was, who cares? And the media was, ha, 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 and redid it during the White House press dinner. It's okay for a comedian to make a joke about forcing his sister to give oral sex to a president, but if another president of a different political party gets 2 scoops of ice cream, that's a mortal sin.
you know what?
And now they spent 2 news cycles, well, not now, but 2 weeks ago, on the fact that Biden likes chocolate chip, I think it is.
Yes.
That was 2 news cycles. Fawning over how much he liked chocolate chip.
I can remember reading at the time of the 2 scoops scandal, what Trump's favorite meal was when he was at the height of his real estate stock market stuff. His favorite meal was 2 these are from McDonald's, the fish sandwich and two not Big Macs, quarter pounders with cheese, and then 2 shakes, chocolate shakes.
Okay.
This was just the meal he ate consistently day to day, and I'm like, holy crap, 2 scoops of ice cream, that's healthy.
Well, do you remember the screaming nut fest they had over the fact he liked his steaks well done with ketchup?
Yeah, there's only one person that I know. No, I know 2 people that like to burn their steaks to a crisp.
And nothing, as Raptor says, who the frack cares?
Exactly, but the media were dumping their cup. I mean, it was a 2-day news
The
sensation.
media will use crap like that to not report on what's actually happened.
Oh, when,
President Trump likes steaks well done.
when they reported that Bush did not like broccoli.
Yeah.
Oh god.
So the broccoli farmers of America sent him a truckload.
Yeah,
That was fun.
that was fun.
That was fun.
That was fun.
Who cares if he doesn't like something?
But they were clutching their pearls over 2 scoops of ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, fainting couches, the smelling salts, the whole nine, the vapors, whole nine
Yeah.
yards.
I'd love to compare catering budgets in
Yeah.
different administrations of the White House, because I guarantee you that Trump's catering budget was probably a whole lot less
Probably.
than Obama's.
Oh yeah.
Hell, I mean, what did Trump do when he invited the college teams in?
Yeah.
He sent out to fast food for
Yeah.
them.
All right. And
Well,
they're college kids.
Yeah.
Trust me.
exactly. They're like, holy crap! I don't normally get the
Yeah.
spicy chicken. Oh,
Chick-fil-A, spicy chicken Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
I don't normally splurge for this.
Speaking of
College
which,
kids.
Chick-fil-A now is back to dine-in.
Yay.
I went there and had a salad yesterday.
About damn time.
And we wasted another hour of your time, speaking of time.
And we went an hour before we started discussing food.
Yeah.
No, actually, we went about 50 minutes.
well, no, we were talking about your dogs eating chicken.
That point.
Yes.
Well, that was not the cooked version.
So,
Anyway, folks, Father's Day is coming up. Petroleum industry is, yes, Sarah, that is a good one. The
What?
petroleum industry is trolling North Face all
Oh,
over the place
hard.
with the ads,
Woo!
billboard ads.
Apparently, they hired the HK girl or something because, oh my God, they are spanking North Face.
Yes,
what did North Face do?
North Face put out a
they
press
were.
conference about how they refuse to support the petrochemical industry because of raping the planet.
And they would
And
not.
This is North Face.
Yeah.
North Face uses.
Yes,
They-
they would not
They refuse to.
do an oil company's logo on jackets.
Yeah, this guy with an oil company ordered North Face jackets with his logo for all of his employees. They said, "No, you are a petrochemical rapist of the environment." And the petrochemical industry as a whole went, "Really?"
Because I guarantee you, nothing that North Face makes their coats out of is natural.
Oh yeah, they have been
they-
hammering them on that.
As soon as that hit the news that they had done that, the American Petrochemical Association crunched some figures and said, "We would like to thank North Face for buying 3.1 million barrels of our crude
Yeah.
to make their products."
Because really, you would see North Face using oiled sailcloth, and they would be
Yeah.
using whale blubber for the oil.
Yeah.
And then sandwiched inside of that, they would have feathers from and down from
Ducks.
eider.
Yeah.
I think it was eider ducks. Right?
Yeah.
So a specific guy. So yeah, let's see North Face do that now. How well they do.
All right, folks, we're out of here.
Y'all be safe.
We didn't talk about eating cats, Sanford.
We did.
Anybody that goes to Chinese places eating dog and cat both.
I've got a good barbecue for Cat.
And we've got a dog chiming in.
Yeah,
Y'all stay safe. Have a good weekend. Remember, don't pet the sweaty stuff. Don't sweat the petty stuff. Bye.